Roll call.
Parker. Here. Miscelinich.
Here.
Olson.
Here.
Zittergruen.
Here.
Jizzle.
Here.
Hadley. Neal.
Here.
Before we get started, I want to welcome Mark Holte as Park and Rec Director. And later on, I think he'll be telling us a little about himself, but I wanted to just welcome you right away. It's nice having you here. Okay, is there anything that anybody wants to bring before the council that's not on the agenda? Since there's no other participants, I think we'll move right along. Consent agenda. Travis?
Item A, minutes of the June 17, 2024 meeting. B, claims. C, resolution setting public hearing on Decorah 2024 Quarry Street improvements. D, appointment of Jenny Werner to Decorah Historic Preservation Committee. E, reappointment of Haley Jackson and Non-St. Clair to Decorah Historic Preservation Committee. And F, special event application Holiday Lights 2024 Helping Services.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Olson, seconded by Chisel. Any further discussion? Hearing seen none. Roll call.
Olson.
Aye.
Jizzle.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Miscelinich.
Aye.
Zittergruen.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Consider resolution approving stop signs on Water Street. Travis?
Okay, so the council discussed the intersections of Winnebago and Washington Streets with Water Street and the current temporary stop sign placement. That was a direct result of the traffic signal falling down at Washington Street. We talked about that at the last council meeting. Consensus of the majority of council was to move forward with permanent stop sign installation and create three-way stop for the Washington Street. That's a one-way. It'll be a two-way stop for that location. The city code requires that stop sign intersections be established by ordinance or resolution of the council. So the proposed resolution would order staff to make the necessary changes. If approved, staff will then order all the permanent installation equipment with the goal of trying to reestablish the current closed parking stalls that we have to make sure you can maintain visibility with the temporary stop signs. The goal would be to reestablish those and get the stop signs up and more visible without having to block those off. City staff has received one call in opposition to the installation of permanent stop signs. I know that question usually gets asked.
What was the opposition? Did they
Yeah.
say specifically?
Didn't like him.
Just didn't like them? Okay, okay. I didn't know if they had any specifics or anything. No, okay. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution approving stop signs on Water Street. Second.
Motion made by Olson's, second by Zittergruen. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Olson.
Aye.
Zittergruen.
Aye.
Miscelinich.
No.
Chisel.
No.
Neal.
Aye.
Parker.
No.
Motion carried.
Failed.
Failed. Okay.
Can,
I ask
yeah,
at
the
this
note-
time, can I ask at this point as far as for the no votes? Could you,
Yeah, as far as my issue is that I have talked to some people that have had issues with people running the stop signs downtown and having some issues about crossing the street with the stop signs and not necessarily having a permanent stop of vehicles so pedestrians can cross, especially on busy days. And so when there's a lot of cars downtown, people are trying to cross, cars are trying to get through the stop signs without a permanent red light so people can cross. And with it being a kind of a pedestrian area downtown, my thought was that having that light, having a permanent stop so people can cross safely is a good thing.
Okay, Christopher?
I would echo the sentiment of Brent. I heard a lot of the same comments and concerns from a lot of individuals, so that is why I voted no.
Okay. Randy?
Well, same reasons that I stated at our last meeting, that consistency is more important because if you want to speed through town, then let's get rid of all of them. So I like the fact that people have to stop, and it does give the pedestrians a safer opportunity to get across the streets.
Okay,
Hey, can I make a comment?
sure.
Well, just if for future votes, if you guys have heard things like that, it'd be super helpful before we vote that you bring them up. Only because I haven't heard any negatives. And so I just assumed Travis said he heard one. I've heard only positives. Nobody else chimed up. Had you said, like, I heard from several people, that might help me. Like, I don't come with my vote set if I don't, I want to hear from other people before we vote personally.
And I do, for me, I kind of expressed my opinion last council meeting too of kind of the feedback I was getting on it.
Okay.
I think my only thought was I wondered of course, you can't just put the stop signs in to see if that would clear up the confusion. But I wondered if once the permanent stop signs were in, if that would have made a difference, but. Okay, consider resolution approving setting salary of the city manager. I think I'm gonna let Carrie bring this forth.
Per our code, the city manager's salary has to be set by resolution. The council did perform the city manager's review at the last meeting and did meet all the requirements to go to the top tier. And so the dollar amount in the resolution represents that.
Okay,
That's the max percentage.
That would be the 6% cost of living plus the 2% of going up to the next step. Level 3.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution approving the setting salary of the city manager.
I'll second.
motion made by Olson, seconded by Neal. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Olson,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Zittergren.
Aye.
Chisel,
No,
Parker,
Aye.
Miscelinich.
Aye.
Okay. Any comment from Randy?
not really, because it was stuff that happened in the closed session.
Okay, thank you.
Talk to you privately if you want to.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Consider resolution approving real estate purchase agreement of right-of-way at 109 Quarry Street.
Okay, so council approved Quarry Street improvements as part of the 2024 street plan. We also just set the public hearing for that at the first meeting in August. During the plan set preparations, discovered that some of the existing underground utilities, as well as a tiny portion of the existing street, are outside of the existing right of way and on private property. So the property owner has agreed to the sale, price of $7,500 for the additional right of way needed, conditional on retaining the right to park where the existing parking is. So city code now allows for parking in the right of way by resolution of the council. So adoption of this would satisfy both the purchase agreement as well as the continued use to park at 109 Quarry Street.
Okay, this is an action requested, so you want to,
Public reference, what? For the public, this is by Dunning Springs.
Correct. So
Quarry
it's
Street, yeah.
Quarry Street there as you're going in towards Dunning Springs. It'd be on the north side of Quick Star. 109 is one of the private residential properties.
And is this?
Said
gonna be-
109, is that right?
109,
Yeah,
correct.
Is this gonna be purchasing part of that parking area where the apartments actually park there in front of them?
Correct, yes. So the water main runs under a section of that as well as the hydrant that's sitting there in front of those apartments that hydrant's actually on private property.
Okay.
So in lieu of replacing and moving all that, we're proposing purchasing right away for $7,500.
All right,
I move for approval.
second.
Second.
motion made by Chisel, seconded by Olson. Any discussion?
I have a question about the real estate agreement mentions that the parking easement that we're granting to the seller as part of this agreement can't interfere with the city's use of the property for utility purposes, and that we can terminate the easement for an essential corporate purpose. I just want to know what kinds of things would qualify as an essential corporate purpose. One question I have is, given the sort of recreational and tourist value of that kind of part of town, if the city in the future, as part of some comprehensive plan, decided, they wanted to, I don't know, calm the road or narrow it in or put in, multimodal infrastructure on both sides of the road, that would make parking there, would that qualify as an essential corporate purpose? I don't want to tie our hands with regard to future uses of Quarry Street if the city deems it's in the best interest to make changes to the configuration of the road.
Mhm. So street qualifies as essential corporate purpose. You started talking multimodal, and I'll have to look over to John on sidewalks as an extension of street. Would that fall under essential?
It's a pretty lengthy definition, and it does talk about opening and widening the right of way of streets. So that, I would think that that sidewalk would apply there. Now, and we've got to make sure that sellers are okay with this. And this is something we typically put in if somebody's coming to us asking for an easement. So we're asking them for their land, and we got to get them to agree to it. But to answer your question, I think it would apply for a sidewalk. That would be an essential corporate purpose in regards to the right of way.
Okay, that's just important to me. I think that given that the area is part of, master planning that's being done even now, I don't want to be binding future city council's hands on terms of what we can do with that part of the right of way. So thank you.
Hey, roll call?
Chisel,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Miscelinich,
Aye.
Zittergrupp.
Aye.
Motion carried. Consider an ordinance amending Title VI Animals of the Decorah Municipal Code, first reading.
Okay, so we took the proposed ordinance at the last council meeting. There were several edits pointed out before the item was eventually tabled. The primary change that we discussed was if a dog is acquired and essentially abandoned, we have it for 3 days and 5 days, and nobody comes to claim the animal. Originally, what was drafted and posed as a question to council was that the city should auction the animal impounded if not claimed. We did change that to essentially just read rehome and added in the event that how did we word that exactly? Well, we stressed that humane euthanization was permissible, but a last attempt. That was one of the main changes that was requested at the last council meeting. In addition, section 5 of the proposed ordinance that includes City Code section 6.20.010. We added that the leash length be no longer than 6 foot as a fixed leash, but included a retractable leash may be longer than 6 foot as long as it can be reduced to that. Again, this does still allow for electronic leashes as long as they're within range of the device. And the third edit needed to be made after the last meeting is any reference to dog warden has been replaced with chief of police.
Motion to approve the ordinance as amended?
Motion made by Olson, seconded by Zittergruin. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Olson.
Aye.
Zittergruin.
Aye.
Jizzle.
No.
Neal.
Aye.
Parker.
No.
Ms. Lynch.
Aye.
Okay. Any comments on the no votes for the dog?
Yeah, and kind of me personally, I'm not, I don't necessarily like the euthanization aspect of it. You know, we have humane societies that could take the dog or the animal, opposed to if we can't find a new home for it, that it'd be euthanized. And I guess maybe the Humane Society would necessarily be a rehome, I guess you might want to say, but I don't necessarily think that's reflective to that. Yeah, so that's kind
Okay.
of my, yeah. And and just also, I don't necessarily know, and I could be mistaken that there's never really been a situation where the city of Decorah has been stuck with an animal and was unable to give it to the Humane Society that we have I believe a 28-day agreement with to take the animals. So I just don't like the euthanization aspect of it, that we have the ability to euthanize it if we want to.
Okay. Randy?
The electronic leashes are still a issue with me
Okay.
for safety reasons.
You don't think they're sufficient?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. Consider an ordinance amending Decorah's, excuse
that
me, I'm
pass?
sorry.
Did that pass or not? Sorry.
Yes. It did pass. Consider an ordinance amending Decorah's sign ordinance and creating chapter 15.2 of the Decorah Municipal Code. And this is the third reading.
Yes, so this is the third reading of, I believe, the third version that we've seen. There are 2 documents in Dropbox. First one, 009B, includes the redlined version where the first iteration appears all in blue lines. Then there were some other changes proposed that are highlighted in yellow. That was the second step. And then the third step was what's shown as a red line in the file 009B, where there was additional, mostly language clarification, removing the word shall and moving it to may for council's adoption of a resolution for wayfinding program, as well as that wayfinding signs, once they're removed, that they're no longer deemed a ownership of the city and that we won't give them to the business. That was removed. And then let's see. Oh, and then the distance required of a digital sign was changed down to 100 feet from residential use property. Those were the 3 latest revisions. Clean version is in Dropbox as 009A.
I'll make a motion to approve the sign ordinance chapter 15.2, third reading.
Second.
Motion made by Neal, second by Zittergruin. Any further discussion? There's hearing seen, none, roll call.
Neil,
Aye.
Zittergruen,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Misselinich,
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Chisel.
No.
And,
Same reasons, it's
Okay.
too restrictive on businesses.
okay. Thank you. Okay, consider approval of amendment to John Shrubby consulting proposal.
Okay, so the council's awarded a proposal from John Shuby Consulting to provide design services for Carlson Park Trail Phase 1B. Previous to that, staff under the Budget Authority awarded a contract to IMBA, the International Biking Association, for Phase 1A. At the recommendation of the park board. That proposal that design material and bid documents that we received as a result of 1A from IMBA does not have near the same level of detail, nor will it include a licensed Iowa engineer stamp. So what the proposed amendment to the Shuby Consulting proposal is a fee not to exceed $12,150. It'll be invoiced hourly, but it will provide the same level of detail for Phase 1A design as the current one we have from Shuby on 1B, which includes a much further itemized breakdown on the bid document sheet, including 3 different types of per linear feet of trail constructed, whether it's a straight trail or banked curve or the other technical names he's got in there. But it also it will break out the features of 1A. And that was our biggest issue, if you remember, when we received the single bid back on 1A. The initial estimate was 200,000. And the one bid came back at 339,000 on the base bid with an alternate of 36,000. And that was based on $80 per linear foot of trail because there was no further breakdown on the bid sheet other than mobilization. So this will again provide us with Iowa licensed engineer stamp set of drawings for going out to bid, satisfies Iowa Code Chapter 26 requirements, as well as this will give us another look at that $200,000 original engineer's estimate, knowing that that was the original and the one bid we received was 375,000. That's a big discrepancy. So this will help us hone in on where that true number should be.
Don't all jump in at once.
I just feel like I've been doing these all night. I move the amendment to the consulting proposal.
Parker, second.
Motion made by Zittergruen, seconded by Parker. Discussion.
So are we anticipating that that $200,000 bid was too low? Is that what we're thinking?
We're thinking it's closer to 200,000 than it is 375, certainly. So Phase 1B, the original estimate that we had was 260,000, and Shuby Consulting and LRE, their initial estimates are just shy of 300. So
Okay.
we're guessing that it is more than 200, but probably still closer to that.
Somewhere in between
375.
those two numbers somewhere. Okay.
Okay, roll call.
Zittergruen,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Misselinich,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Chisel,
Aye.
Neil.
Aye.
Motion carries. Discussion of noise pollution ordinance. I know this was brought by 2 council people. We have one in attendance, the other one is not. Is there appetite to
I
carry
can,
this over?
I can start I was one of the council members, so do you want me to just say why I brought it up?
I think Emily, unless you think it'd be better just to wait till Ross is here, do you feel like this is really important to do tonight, or would it be better to wait for Ross to be here?
I do not. I just, I think one of the, I guess I was gonna mention why I brought it up and then other people could think about it for the next week too. So my concern with the noise ordinance has to do with, oh, and Travis, what's the word? As we create tighter, infill and lessen our setbacks as houses get closer to each other, but also just as, we think about air conditioners a lot in the summer. I've gotten a lot of complaints about really loud, HVAC equipment outside and trying to find a way in which, there are obviously sound barriers people can put up. And so I think we have to be cognizant of the noise that machinery in houses makes. So that's one interest I have in this ordinance. So we can talk about another date. I just wanted other people to think along those lines as well.
I appreciate that input. Then we can look forward to discussing that at the next, an additional meeting or next meeting.
We need a motion to table or not?
No, since
Okay.
it's not an actionable
There
item.
was no,
there's
there was no action. so.
And you've heard from enough people that we want to talk about this next time.
I'm certainly not hearing
Yeah,
opposition.
no,
Great,
Yeah.
thanks.
I have no problem with that. Waiting.
Okay. Openings, we have openings on Decorah Human Rights Commission and Library Board as of July 1st. So we'll go on to Department Head and Council reports. Got to start?
I'll start quickly. The city received 8 responses to the Dalen property planning RFQ, which was a tremendous response rate. So that committee, we've already established a date and time that works for all of us to participate and score, or excuse me, not just score, but interview those that we want to interview. I've pushed out all the responses to council members, park board members. Everyone can review those. And the plan is to get that scoring committee together and whittle down that list to how many we want to bring in an interview. I've already reached to all respondents, reached out and told them, please reserve that date and time, and you'll hear back. So 8 responses. A lot of very well qualified firms, very optimistic about this opportunity.
Do you want to meet sometime prior to that to whittle that?
Either meet or even just a straw poll through email would even be sufficient. Possibly. So we'll talk further afterwards. Also, do want to point out as a bit of a heads up to council, John and I are still looking at some possible changes that we may propose to council as a result of an Iowa Supreme Court decision on sidewalks and liabilities imposed. And so there will be some upcoming discussions on sidewalks again. That's all I have.
Gary? Now's the time for Mark to be able to tell us a little about himself. And since he doesn't have, do you have the microphone there, or he can come? Do you mind coming up to the podium since? Okay, that'd be great.
It's adjusted here. So first of all, thank you for the opportunity to be a part of the city of Decorah, and look forward to serving the citizens and working with the mayor and the council and different departments. Very excited. I had a cursory look into the park system prior to interviewing and did some research, really impressed with what's in place here. And over the weekend, I did a deeper dive in the parks, and that just completely confirmed the great wealth of resources and just the phenomenal opportunities in Parks and Rec. The majority of my professional experience was with the Minneapolis Park and Rec Board, 22 years serving in different areas of the city. And the most recent was, I don't know if you're familiar with Minneapolis, but near Lake of the Isles. I served a number of communities there. And I started off in this field in more of a environmental education, natural resource management, and then shifted over to city parks and recreation, and have had experiences at different agencies. And as mentioned, the majority of the experience has been with the Minneapolis Park and Rec Board. So thank you for welcoming me, and thank you for this opportunity to share a little bit about my background.
And you made it through your first day, so.
Yeah,
It's
that's
nice to
right.
see you here.
I started at that table and ended at that table.
Very applicable.
Been a good first day. So thank you.
Okay.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Brent, you got anything?
Outside of official welcome to our new Park and Rec Director, I have nothing.
Christopher?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Welcome, Mark. Obviously I got to meet you today, so welcome aboard and thanks for coming on board. Just one real quick thing. If you didn't get a chance to over the weekend, New Minimum Players put on a play, Bright Star, and it was phenomenal. It never ceases to amaze me the talent we have in this community. Alex right here was one of the lead roles, and it was a phenomenal performance. And thank you guys again for doing what you did and enjoyed it. That's it.
Steve?
I want to wish everyone a happy 4th and encourage a safe celebration. If you don't have other plans, you should consider coming out to Pulpit, which is a race that happens in the morning. It leaves from Pulpit Rock Brewery and goes by the Pulpit Rock Natural Feature. It's a 5K. No council member or elected officials beat me in it in the last 5 years. Challenge continues to stand. It's a great community event, actually, whether or not you're a runner. It also goes to support some great causes in town. So it's a great event to get your 4th started off.
Good. Randy?
I'll just echo, be safe this weekend and be cognizant of people shooting off fireworks. Don't stand in the way. Otherwise, I have nothing.
Or fight against each other?
Watching that on YouTube today. Water
Yeah.
skiers shooting them at each other.
Yeah, that was rough. I've had a conversation with Travis that I'd like to see maybe put into being when 2 people bring an item before the agenda, that there are a bit of guidelines. Like a suggestion is the topic, the purpose, suggested action, supportive documents, but also timeline, so that when we come to council meetings, that we have a little bit more information on what's being asked versus sometimes it comes and we know that's on, but we may not know all the background and stuff. But I've talked, you can let me know how you feel about that, but that's what I'm encouraging in the future for when you have something you want on the agenda.
Mayor, don't, and
Yeah.
I just want you to come back around to me, but that's okay.
Hey, thank you, Emily.
Yeah,
You must be vacationing someplace.
I am at Lake of the Ozarks, actually, never been. So,
That sounds fun. Okay,
Yeah.
Emily Neal.
One, Steve, the gauntlet's been dropped. I did do it last year, but you're fast, so I'll try to work on it for next year.
I'm getting slower every year.
Great. You get slower, I'll get faster. Anyhow, I did want to just make a plug. At our last work session, we did talk about the fire station. I think we had discussed a working group for that. I just don't want that to fall off our radar for months again. So just want to keep that in the forefront of people's minds. And wish everyone a happy 4th of July as well.
Okay. You have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. Have a good 4th of July.